What's up guys? So in today's video I'm going to go over a brief overview of what I did to make this gun quiet out of my experience with building VSRs and things like that. The mods that I have done to this build are quieter than most of the other mods that I've done. I would say even just a full-on upgrade kit like the Jurassic kit is even a little less quiet than this build. This build's a little bit quieter. Even compared to Nova rifles, which are loud, most people know that. Even if you modify those to make them quieter, I would still say this build is quieter, in my opinion, with the internals that are paired with it and things like that. That's just from my experience, and I'll tell you guys how I made it quiet. I'm not going to go through installs of certain parts with these, because a lot of these parts are self-explanatory, but eventually I'll go in depth of each mod that I did and show you guys how to do it in the future. But for now, I'll just tell you more about it. So this is the VSR1 build that I have here. And to start things off, I'll go with internally and then some of the slightly external mods that I did. So this is a cylinder head. This is my stock cylinder head, so keep in mind it doesn't have the silicone based rubberized pad at the bottom of it that Sniper Mechanics incorporated into his cylinder head. This is a damper head from Sniper Mechanics, as you can see here, Sniper Mechanics packaging. I just threw my stock one in there as an example of what it will look like when it comes in the box. This cylinder head can go on to any Action Army cylinder head. I'm pretty sure it can go on to Maple Leaf as well. And those are the two main ones I would probably recommend for the cylinder head. So if you're planning on doing that, go with that cylinder head. It helps dampen the noise when that piston breaks the point of the trigger sear and hits the cylinder head, and then the tip of the piston will then hit the cylinder head, which then that physical touch, once it slams forward and pushes air through the cylinder head, that will dampen the noise as it hits that cylinder head internally of the cylinder itself. So that helps with noise reduction. I'll go through an installation video on that, but pretty much all it is installing a cylinder head onto your cylinder, and that will help reduce some sort of noise within the cylinder itself. The next mod that I'll show you is definitely the most important mod to quiet your rifle down. Out of all of these mods here, I have about 4 different mods, so keep that in mind. That's one of 4. The other mod is the silicone head to the piston. So like I was saying, the piston hits the cylinder head, and having the cylinder head be, slightly rubberized with like a silicone based, not silicone based, but like a rubberized based internal padding inside the cylinder head that helps reduce the noise. And then this, that it comes in contact with that cylinder head. So pretend this is the end of the piston, and this is the end of your cylinder with the cylinder head. So it hits this, and that rubber to rubber contact dampens the noise even more, which is really good. And it helps with that noise reduction a little bit from that physical contact. The air brakes also in here, like a longer air brake, helps seal the air seal within the cylinder. So that brake, the longer the brake, I've noticed just maybe a slight noise reduction with a longer air brake in there. But this is the main thing inside the Wasp kit that really dampens noise very well. That's why you want to make sure you keep it lubricated and maintained every once in a while, so it's not as dry as it is now. But that rubber to rubber contact with your cylinder head to your piston head is what will help reduce noise internally inside your cylinder. Alright, so now I'll go into the next mod. So we've got 2 of the main mods down. I'll just set these to the side. Now I'll get into a slightly more just, it's a mod that I've seen help, but it doesn't do too much, but it does help. So this is going to be the internally suppressed barrel modification with good old foam. So this foam is just like foam. It's one of those like dampening foam pads that you can just buy on Amazon for cheap, and then you can just modify it and drill it out and fill in the internals of your outer barrel. So this barrel is lined with foam inside of it around the inner barrel, so it's all the way around there, and I use this to get that foam filled. So pretty much I just use a circular drill bit, made sure it was the right size of the inner diameter of the outer barrel, drilled holes, filled in the outer barrel, and then made sure that foam was all the way inside of that outer barrel covering the inner barrel, which helps dampen the noise. If you have larger chassis, you can use this foam to fill in certain spots within the stock that will help dampen the noise as well. I think I have some foam sitting here and some foam sitting back by the trigger, just because it's extra hollow space within the chassis that can be creaky, and it can move around. Maybe there's slight movements, slight areas where there can be movement within the chassis, where if you fill it in with foam, it moves around. It doesn't really squeak or anything like that. It has foam reduction inside of the chassis as well. So those are two different things I did, but that's one mod by itself that you can do, is internally suppress your barrel and foam fill your chassis. Those are kind of combined as one mod. So you can do that with a couple strips of foam, and that is more over the cheaper end mod that you can just get on Amazon and things like that. It's not very hard to find, and you won't find it out of stock, so that's something you can do right away if you necessarily need a noise reduction to your rifle if it's super loud. The last mod I'm going to go over is the suppressor. It's not really a mod until you've modded the internals of the suppressor. So the suppressor, most mod suppressors come without foam, just so it's legal and safe. But it's not going to do anything to actually suppress your rifle. Some people use the suppressor to then cover your inner barrel, so then you can have a covering to the inner barrel, and then it doesn't stick way out of the outer barrel, so it's not like just so there's something that is protective towards your inner barrel. So this suppressor can help cover that, but I like to use it for what it should be used for, and it's to suppress your rifle. So I added extra foam inside here too. It's not one of like my top ways to noise reduce a bolt action build, but it does help in some degree. So what I did here was pop this cap off. There may be Loctite on most suppressors because of the regulations and stuff like that, but eventually when you get it off, you can line it with foam as well. So you see there's foam in there, and it goes all the way back, and then you just pop this cap on, thread it back on, and then you can have a suppressor that has foam, and it'll help reduce some of that noise when you're going to make shots and things like that. So that's pretty cool. And then just make sure when you do that, when you get a suppressor and you fill it with foam, make sure you do have the right threads for that suppressor. Mine are 14 counterclockwise. This is a 14 counterclockwise suppressor. Thank you, Nate, for the suppressor that I got from him, because this is actually the suppressor he gave me, and then the suppressor cover. So I have had this for a decent amount of time now, and yeah, it's really helped. For the longest time, I was always against suppressors just because it made the outer barrel length super long, and it didn't really do too much to reduce noise. So I was just like, forget it, I'm not going to do it. But with something like this, the smaller build, it just makes a lot of noise for whatever reason. So with all the mods combined, it's really reduced the noise of the rifle a lot, and I can't complain now that how the rifle's built. It's super quiet, and quieter than the Jurassic kits I've seen that I've built. That's like the one, plus to this setup that I have here, the Sniper Mechanics setup with the Wasp, is it's super quiet. There's nothing out there right now that I think can beat that. Novich definitely hasn't done it. The Jurassic kit comes close with the sap, the shock absorbent piston. It's solid, it does reduce noise, but it still has a little bit of twang to it, which you have to do a lot of modifications to then make it quieter, which you can do that, but it's a little bit more advanced, and as well as you're going to need to maintain it and know what you're doing with the piston setup and things like that to keep the noise down. But this, the mods that I have here, very reasonably priced, as well as very user friendly. You can do this on your own as well. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to go over in this video today, was showing you some of the sound reduction mods that I have on my VSR1. Yeah, so this thing is quiet and I like that, and I'll be able to show you that in some gameplays that I have probably coming down the pipeline soon, from an op that I had with my buddy Nate, Blind Sniper. You can check out his video. His video is already out at the time making this video, so you can check out that video. It is with me and him out at a field in Wisconsin, Black Ops Bristol, for like a full Milsim event. So you can check that out. I was in there with him when filming that video. And then the next video that I have down the pipeline is a video at Sherwood Forest. That video has much more action in it, much more kills than the other video. So that video is definitely coming out first, and it did happen before that video. So I want to get that video out before anything else, regardless. But it didn't have this gun in it, so you won't see that this gun featured in that video. But those are some gameplays I have down the pipeline. But as far as other overviews and reviews and gameplays and not gameplays, reviews, overviews, and like tutorial stuff, I have more stuff planned for that. But for now, this is what I have for this video. And what was I gonna say? So yeah, those are the four things. So you have your cylinder dampener from Sniper Mechanics, your Wasp piston kit, which is also a noise reduction method, and then a suppressor, which is gonna suppress some of the noise, and then you can foam fill your suppressor with lining your outer barrel with foam, and also you can do it with your chassis depending on what your chassis looks like and how much foam you can insert into the chassis without screwing anything up and misaligning anything. So there's the four things, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so if you have any questions about the mods, I can kind of help you with that. Obviously I didn't show you how to do that in this video. I showed you what I did, but eventually I'll go into how to do it in further videos. You can find these parts available on the website vroomarmament.com. Best way to do it, it's within the US, ships super quick to you guys. You don't have to worry about any import taxes that now are for everyone because of the new regulations and stuff. So regardless of the amount you pay overseas, you're still gonna have import taxes. So keep that in mind. That's why, you know, I bring the parts in bulk over here, and then you guys can purchase it here and get it shipped to you quicker, and the price is much better. It's more reasonable for you guys, in my opinion, as well as I can QC it and stuff like that, which, you know, the other shops did overseas too. But I'm just saying, in that degree, those are some of the benefits of buying from this shop. I will say this, eventually these two parts here will be restocked. I think this part's already stocked right now. This part is coming soon. Keep that in mind. So yeah, I'll have more of those cylinders heads in stock because those were a hot seller and I want to make sure you guys have them. And yeah, so if you have any questions about the build or any of the mods here to make things quiet on your build, let me know. And that's about it for today's video. You guys have a good one and take care. Have a great day.